business news, we're news for business people.
Good morning, you're watching Daybreak on Bloomberg Quint Live and I'm Alex Matthew. At the onset, from all of us here at Bloomberg Quint, here's wishing you a very happy and prosperous 2018 for you and your families. Let's look at the headlines now. President Hassan Rouhani said Iranians have the right to protest and criticize the authorities, but their actions should not lead to violence or damage public property. Assam's publication of the first draft of the National Register of Citizens legalizes 1.9 crore people as citizens of India. Actor Rajinikanth announced his political debut and said he will launch his own party to contest all 234 constituencies in the next assembly polls in Tamil Nadu. And automakers are expected to register double-digit growth in sales aided by deeper discounts in December. Well, here are the latest updates coming in from Iran. The Hassan Rouhani administration has initiated an internet crackdown, blocking access to apps like Instagram and Telegram, even as anti-government protests continued across the country. The protests are the biggest since 2009 and are based on economic hardships and alleged corruption in the government machinery. President Hassan Rouhani has appealed for calm, saying Iranians have the right to protest and criticize authorities, but they cannot cause damage to public property. US President Donald Trump said on Twitter that the world is watching events in Iran and that the government should respect their people's right, including the right to express themselves. Well, nothing to tell you on the international markets front because most of them are shut. The Indian market, though, is very much open and will open for trade a short while from now. I'm joined now by Darshan Mehta and Agam Vakil. Happy New Year, guys. First up, Darshan, first to you. What's the trade setup for today? Volumes might just be a little thin.
Happy New Year, Alex. Yes, you're right. You know, the SCX Nifty is trading, no doubt. The Singapore exchange is shut, but the SCX Nifty is on in trade today. It's indicating a mild outlook. It's trading down by almost 5 points. The volumes are absolutely limited. The last time I saw there were tradings of volumes of almost 2,000 shares. So the SCX Nifty is indicating a downtick. Now, which were the shares that saw the ADRs that saw a surge? Tata Motors was the best performing. Even Wipro did well. It was up almost 1%. What didn't do well was Vedanta. Vedanta was down almost 1.5% in trade. Now, as far as crude is concerned, no doubt crude is not trading today, but overnight, that means on Friday, crude ended up almost 1%. So WTI is now trading above the $60 barrel per mark. So there is enough traction, and it's gained almost 3% the last week. So on a weekly basis also, it was a good close. Now, if you're looking at the mixed base metals that came in from the LME, it was a mixed close that happened. Most of them, 3 of them did well, 3 of them didn't. So nickel was up 3%, zinc was up almost 0.4%, and tin was up almost 0.5%. What didn't do well was lead, aluminium, and copper. China is shut today, so no commodity cues that are coming in from China. Even gold is not trading today, but it closed with gains for the 7th straight day. So there was traction that was seen as far as gold was concerned. FI sold in almost 595 crores in the cash market. This was the last working day for the year, and DI has bought in almost 460 crores in the cash market. So there's enough traction. FIs for the full month have been lackluster. They've sold in 5,000 crores in the cash market, but very active DI participation. They bought in almost 8,142 crores in the cash market. Now, if you're looking at the trade setup and the Nifty itself, Nifty straight 4th weekly positive close. It closed up almost 0.5% above the 10,500 mark in trade. What did well was, for the full year we are talking about, was the real estate sector. It was one of the only sectors on the NSE which gained more than 100% this year. What did well and didn't do well? So the Nifty Auto was the best performing sector on Friday. What didn't do well was the metal pack, which was down almost 0.5%. Now the Nifty was up almost more than 50 points. What contributed? TCS, Axis Bank, Tata Motors and HDFC were the main contributors, while some bit of negative cues coming in from HDFC Bank, Reliance, ICICI Bank and GAIL. But Agam, what are the F&O cues indicating now?
Well, Darshan, it's the start of the new year, and we're looking at a positive, indication, at least as far as the Nifty is concerned, considering we saw the Nifty move up another 50 points. A lot of longs adding out there as well, so about 5% added as far as open interest is concerned towards longs, and it's the same for the Nifty Bank when you consider, the index moving up as much as 0.2%. However, a little bit of unwinding coming along as far as open interest is concerned. Moving in with respect to the India Volatility Index, it did move up, inching towards the mark of 13, currently at 12.7. We'll be watching out for this, but the Nifty put call ratio remains unchanged at around 1.6. Moving in terms of the way things have panned out when it comes to change in open interest, we have seen a lot of activity in the 10,300, 400 and 500 puts. As you can see, a substantial amount of writing. So we'll be watching out for what happens as we move into trade today around these levels, and there's good support building in. But with respect to stocks that we're watching out for, we have HDL and JP Associates which move into the band. Watch out for these counters. We also have the likes of Reliance Communications, where we saw further addition of fresh longs, and plenty of other stocks which have seen a substantial amount of longs build up, something like a Wockhardt as well. So we'll be watching out for these as we move to today's day of trade.
Absolutely, Agam, and you'll be back, of course, with the first F&O show of the year. Do stay tuned for that. But it's a new year and a new beginning, not just for you and me, but also for brokerage houses. It's time for them to rejig their portfolios and make fresh bets. Darshan Mehta is standing by with the top calls of brokerages that have already released their strategies for 2018. Darshan, what are the big brokerage calls for the year?
See, there are a couple of them that came out. So let's take a look at brokerage-wise. So first, let's talk about what Credit Suisse is talking about. They like two stocks from the entire pack, SBI and ONGC. So target price, they believe a potential upside of 23% among the large cap is SBI, given the fact that the gains from SBI listing will actually raise the stressed asset cover to 34%. The ROE will be in double digits because of that. And ONGC, they are liking it. They like a 13% upside, aided by higher oil and gas prices that will come in over the next fiscal. So this is Credit Suisse bets that have come out. The other brokerages that have come out with reports are Axis Direct. They like Interglobe Aviation. They see a potential 25% upside, and they like SBI Life Insurance with a 22% upside. The rationale that they have given for Indigo is the fact that they can capitalize on passenger traffic at a lower operating cost. Remember, it's one of the cheapest operating, in terms of operations, it's one of the cheapest airlines. And in terms of SBI Life Insurance, they see a 19% CAGR of embedded value. So they are seeing these two stocks. The other brokerages that have come out with notes is Carvey. Carvey likes Yes Bank with a potential of 52%. They expect NIMs to improve to 3.6% in the next 2 years. And they like Natco Pharma with a potential upside of 36%, given the fact that they see limited competition in some of the products, means lower price erosion, and that will lead to higher cash flows for the company. So this is what Carvey has indicated. We have JM Financial, which likes two stock, L&T Finance and Tata Motors. 35% potential upside by JM Finance on L&T Finance, because they focus on retail finance to improve the return ratios. And Tata Motors, they believe a 28%, given the fact that the new launches is something that will aid the company significantly. So these are some of the key brokerages that have come out. The next one that we'll talk about is HDFC Securities. Nagarjuna Construction, 45% potential upside, given the fact that there is a pickup in government tenders to lead to new orders that will come in the year. And South Indian Bank, they see a 32% upside. They believe that the technology banking to cut costs and raise efficiency for the bank. So this is what HDFC Security has been pointing out. So these are some of the stocks that you need to be watching out going into 2018 now.
So much for that, Darshan. Let's move on now, and we're talking about the government's tax collections, indirect tax to be sure. It has collected 80% of the budgeted target for indirect taxes in the current financial year. That's according to the Minister of State for Finance, Shiv Pratap Shukla. He informed Parliament that the indirect tax mop-up stood at 7.35 lakh crore as on November 30. The full year target stands at 9.27 lakh crore rupees. Of the total collected, of the total amount that was collected, 3.68 lakh crore was collected as GST, while the remaining was collected through excise, customs and service tax levied by the government before the implementation of the nationwide tax. The centre has compensated states for an estimated revenue loss of around 24,500 crore in the July to October period on account of GST. The direct tax mop-up in comparison stood at 66% of the budgeted target as of December 18th. The government has collected 6.49 lakh crore rupees versus a budget target of 9.8 lakh crore rupees. Of the total direct tax collected, 3.77 lakh crore rupees came as corporate tax, while 2.65 lakh crore was obviously personal income tax. But let's move on and take a check on the rupee and the bond market at the start of the year. Morning, Shraddha, and Happy New Year. What do you have for us?
Happy New Year to you and all our viewers, Alex. To start off with, the Indian rupee closed at a near 4-month high on the last trading day of 2017. So it ended about 20 paise stronger to the US dollar on Friday, remaining sub that 64 per dollar level. It was the 7th straight weekly gain for the currency. And while the Indian rupee gained about 6.4% for the year 2017, it has underperformed most of its Asian peers. As far as the bond markets are concerned, the yield on the 10-year government bond settled 7 basis points lower at 7.326%, gaining the most in 6 weeks and cooling off slightly after Thursday's 17 basis points spike that we had seen on the yield on account of government's additional borrowing program that they had announced. But for the year, yields are up as much as 91 basis points.
Thanks for that, Shraddha. Let's shift focus now to the commodity space. Jayesh Khilani joins us now with all the updates. Limited updates though. A lot of the markets are shut today, but what do you have for us, Jayesh?
Morning, Alex. Let me start off with crude oil prices. So WTI on Friday closed above the $60 mark for the first time in over 2 years. Now, it gained about 3% for last week, while Brent closed up 1% and touched an intraday high of almost 67 for a barrel. Now, this was the second weekly gain of over 3% for Brent oil. If you look at the entire year 2017, WTI was up only 6%, while Brent surged as much as 14% for the entire year. Moving on to the base metal space, the LME base metal index on Friday snapped its 10-day winning streak and closed marginally lower. For the index itself, the entire year, that was pretty good. It gained about 29% for 2017, which was the biggest yearly gain that it saw since 2009. As far as individual base metals are concerned, nickel was up more than 3%, which was the best performer on the London Metal Exchange, while lead was down about 1.5%. That was the worst performer for the day. Zinc and tin ended marginally higher, while aluminium and copper were down in trade. Now, we are not getting any cues from the Shanghai Futures Exchange on account of the holiday. As far as precious metals is concerned, gold closed up 7 days in a row, that is the COMEX futures, and it also closed above the 1300 mark for the first time since October 2017.
Thanks for that, Jayesh. Let's move on now, and auto sales will be out both today and tomorrow. But deeper discounting may have worked for automakers in December. 3 brokerage houses expect that all listed vehicle makers will show a double-digit growth in monthly sales when they come out with their numbers today. Agam Vakil joins us now with all those numbers. Agam, what can we expect?
Well, Alex, it can be a very, very good month for when it comes to auto sales, considering, as you already mentioned, we're looking at deep discounts as well as a lower base. Let me start off with the expectations. So when it comes to that, in terms of what we can expect, we have the likes of Ashok Leyland, where we can expect near 50% growth on a year-on-year basis. Maruti Suzuki, which has been going from strength to strength, along with Mahindra and Mahindra, the tractors too are seeing substantial, traction, and of course Tata Motors. This is in terms of the standalone numbers, where we can expect about a 39% growth. But moving in terms of some other expectations when it comes to two-wheeler sales, we have Hero MotoCorp, Bajaj Auto, Royal Enfield, as well as TVS Motor Companies. You can see a considerable, growth on a year-on-year basis can be expected, especially Hero MotoCorp, where we're expecting about a near 67% rise on a year-on-year basis. Moving in terms of some of the factors that we can expect, to fuel this growth, of course, low base. space because of the fact that we had demonetization last year. But other than that, we also had bigger discounts. And do remember, we have upcoming price hikes because of which a lot of clients and customers have gone ahead and bought into these vehicles. There's also a general pickup in commercial vehicle demand, and of course rural demand revival has also led to growth in your two-wheeler space. But in terms of what brokerages have to say, from what we understand, of course, is, as I mentioned, higher discounts in commercial vehicles. We're expecting about 40 to 50% growth in TVS Motor Company, as well as some other three-wheeler sales. And we see top picks for as far as Motilal Oswal is concerned is Maruti, Bajaj Auto, and Tata Motors. Moving in terms of Nomura as well, again, what they are seeing is expect the passenger vehicle segment to grow as much as 6%, and they expect Royal Enfield's capacity ramp up to drive as much as 25% growth. And again, M&M's UV sales will be weak, but tractor sales is something which is strong. So a little bit of contradiction coming there, but we'll wait and watch as to what we can see in terms of utility vehicle. But on the whole, we're expecting a very, very strong month when it comes to Indian Auto.
Right, we'll watch out for those numbers, and we'll be back, of course, to give you all the updates on the auto sales numbers both today and tomorrow. Do stay tuned for that. But on to the stock of the day, which is Lincoln Pharma, and Nikki Mirchandani is here to tell you why. Nikki, morning.
Morning, Alex. Lincoln Pharma is the stock which is on our radar today. Janus Consolidated Finance has bought in close to 2 lakh shares in the company, which is at a price of 35 rupees per share, which represent nearly 1% holding in the company, and which is for an amount of around 9 odd crore. Now, just to give you a brief rundown of what Janus Consolidated Finance is, it's a group which is involved into the ancillary services, ancillary to financial services, and has a portfolio of around 125 crore, and is also invested in companies like Maninfra and Tide Water and Felix India, among others. In terms of stock performance for Lincoln Pharmaceuticals, 1 week the stock has not given that great performance. It's a subdued performance. Also 1 month, it's been a 20% return that we're looking at. On a yearly basis, it's a 29% return that we're looking in for this company. To just give you a little financial summary of this company, revenue at a CAGR has grown at 14% in the 5-year period between 2012 and 17. EBITDA has grown in the 27% in the span of 5 years, and profitability for also has been, it's been a good show there at a 40% rate that we're looking at in these 5 years. It's a pharmaceutical counter that we're talking about, and that's it. That's the stock of the day that we have for today.
That's great. So Lincoln Pharma is one stock that you guys have to watch out for. But for all the other stocks in the news that are obviously going to react and trade today, we have Shraddha Babla joining us now. Shraddha, what are those stocks that you have on your list today?
Alex, at the top of the list undoubtedly will be PSU banks, which will be in focus on account of the fresh capital infusion that has been done by the government in the form of CET1 capital, all of which through preferential allotment. So the centre in total has pumped about 7,600 crores in 6 PSU banks. The breakup is 2257 crores in Bank of India, 2,729 crores in IDBI Bank, 323 crores in Central Bank of India, 243 crores in Dena Bank, another 1375 crores in UCO Bank, and 650 crores in Bank of Maharashtra. So we could see some positive reaction on some of these names. Also some further development on IDBI Bank, where they have sold a further 4.89% of their stake in SIDB, and that is for an undisclosed amount. Earlier, the bank has sold stakes of about close to 10% in 2 tranches at the end of September, last time around. So IDB has another one to keep an eye out for. That apart, you also have a PTI report which is suggesting that SAIL plans to bid for stressed assets of SR Steel and Bhushal Steel. So let's keep an eye out on SAIL India as well. Brigade Enterprises, which will acquire a 13-acre property in Bangalore for 218 crores. You have Control Print, whose QIP opened and the floor price has been set at 475. That compares to the closing price of 462, so a marginal premium as far as the QIP price is concerned. Oil India, which has made 2 hydrocarbon discoveries in Upper Assam Basin, and lastly SRF, which will commission its first phase of BOPP capacity in Indore. So the plant now will have a capacity of 35,000 MT. So all of these stocks that need to be tracked today, Alex.
Shraddha, quick point on IDBI Bank. It's one of the banks, if I'm not mistaken, under prompt corrective action as well, right? So I think the sale of the assets fits into the overall strategy of bringing the back?
It does. It's a part of their non-core asset sale, and they have been continuously selling stake in SIDBI or NSE, and also have a list of another subsidiaries that they have spoken about divesting stake in.
Right. So we leave it at that. Thanks so much, Shraddha, for giving us those stocks to watch. But Somit Sarkar joins us now with the big brokerage calls of the day. Somit?
Good morning, Alex. And the big brokerages, first we have CLS and HDFC Standard Life. Now they have initiated coverage on the stock with a buy rating and a target price of 455. Now HDFC Standard Life Insurance is one of India's leading and most profitable life insurers, and is set to benefit from the domestic expansion and market share gains due to its wide distribution network and innovative product pipeline. It also has an early mover advantage into the credit protection policies, which offers expansion opportunities for the company. Now the brokerage is expecting the company's new premium and embedded value to grow at a compounded annual growth rate of 24% and 18% over FY17 to FY20. The brokerage is also expecting the insurer's operating return on embedded value to be around 20% over FY17 to FY20. Now, HDFC Standard Life is the most profitable insurer and leads peers in growth and profitability. And on the back of this, the stock deserves a premium valuation to its peers according to CLSE. Second, we have is BofA on Bharti Infratel. Now they have maintained their buy rating on the stock, but have marginally reduced the target price to 460 from 463. Now they're expecting volatility in the stock due to tenancy cancellation, and this cancellation in tenancies will be led by closing down of Tata Teleservices and Aircel, and because of the merger of Idea and Vodafone. Now the brokerage is expecting the Q3 numbers to show impact of rapid consolidation in the telecom industries. However, the exact impact of this will depend on how it gets accounted for, but according to the brokerage, the worst case impact would be just 3% of the consolidated tenancies. Now going forward, they're expecting the stock to re-rate as telecom companies are expected to sell their stake in this tower arm. Currently, Bharti Infratel is trading at a discount to its foreign peers, mainly due to the perception of the conflict of interest, as its biggest customer is its biggest owner.
Thanks so much, Somit, for that. Now, on to the political news that came up over the weekend. Actor Rajinikanth announced his political debut on Sunday and said he will launch his own party to contest all 234 constituencies in the next assembly polls in Tamil Nadu. Now, that's a move that is expected to alter political alignments in the southern state, and that ends 2 decades of speculation about his entry into politics. In case you didn't already know, Rajni enjoys cult status in Tamil Nadu and in fact in various other parts of the country. At his valedictory address to fans in Chennai at the end of a 6-day meet, Rajinikanth asked for volunteers to see that those who prevent amenities and rights reaching the people are stopped. Truthfulness, hard work and growth will be the slogan of the new party. Do good, speak, and only good will happen. That's a rough translation of what the guiding slogan of the party is likely to be. But let's move on now. 1.9 crore Indians residing in Assam have been recognized as legal citizens of India. The government released the first draft of the National Register of Citizens at midnight of 2017 and 2018. That's just last night. The same list will be updated with more names once verification is completed. That's according to the Registrar General of India. 3.29 crore applicants had submitted documents to support their claim of being Indian citizens. Infiltration from Bangladesh had warranted the move. But there's lots to talk about today, especially considering that it's the new year, and you'll find a lot of news on the website bloombergquint.com. But there are also a few stories that I think you should consider reading at the onset. Here they are. The Department of Telecommunications will issue notices to 5 wireless carriers, including Tata Teleservices, Telenor and Reliance Jio Infocom, to recover over 2,500 crore rupees after the national auditor red flagged underreporting of revenues by these firms. That's a PTI report. The Serious Fraud Investigation Office, or SFIO, is carrying out additional inquiries into the case against defunct airline, Kingfisher Airlines, which was owned, remember, by declared willful defaulter Vijay Mallya. The agency, which comes under the Corporate Affairs Ministry, has flagged various violations by individuals, including Mallya, and entities related to Kingfisher Airlines in a report. Well, that's all we have for you on this edition of Daybreak. Do stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint, however. All you need to know is up next. Thanks for watching.